Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 233 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor. We'll have Damon someday.
Damon is maybe, or he. You know what?
Playing tennis.
Yeah, he's doing tennis, but I have to wonder. We found out that the company that we use to record this, or it's a service that they have a mobile. Or you can record now from an iPhone, because you couldn't do that before. You couldn't.
No, Damon's been asking for that feature for like ever, and like it's not something that's offered by most of these recording companies. In fact, I don't think anybody does it, to be totally honest. So.
Yeah, which is understandable because it's very hard to get good quality recording off of a mobile device. But we'll see how Damon comes in today. He may actually try and join us from his phone,
phone. Yeah,
may be interesting. So fair warning.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. He's gonna do his Kool-Aid Man thing again. We're just gonna bust in randomly at some point. He's gonna. Yeah. I wish he would just do that one time. By the way, where he would just come in and be like, "Oh yeah," like just like all. That's how he starts. Yeah, just doing the Kool-Aid Man. Why don't they do the Kool-Aid Man anymore? I feel like that's not a thing anymore.
Corporate identity and branding, and I know nobody wants to be fun anymore.
I know, but like the Kool-Aid Man is so much fun. Like
there's a lot of like mascots and stuff for companies that they've gotten away from that were a lot of fun and made things definitely more appealing. And I honestly don't know why they got away from them. The Kool-Aid Man doesn't seem like, I don't know. It like, why would you stop using it? Because
that's what I'm saying.
A kid's icon kind of thing.
That's like, I feel like Tony the Tiger's not a thing anymore either, right? Like, I mean, that was a huge one too, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think that one's, it's hard to replace the voice of Tony, or I shouldn't say it's hard. I mean, they've done different versions of him, but yeah, it's when you're used to like the very deep Tony the Tiger, which, coincidentally is Thurl Ravenscroft from the Haunted Mansion.
Look at that connection.
Look
at that.
Isn't that amazing?
Look at that connection you just made. That's great. We're going to talk Haunted Mansion today too, actually.
Yeah, I know. So it's funny when you have a voice actor like that does a character, and it's so iconic. That I get at a certain point they have to retire, and it's like you don't even want to try and duplicate it because it just sounds weird, right?
You mean like when they replace Kermit the Frog and it's terrible?
But yeah.
I mean, what's weird to me though is like I feel like Mickey Mouse through the years has been many different people, but the consistency has stayed, right? Like I've never been like, oh, that Mickey Mouse sounds way different than the other ones. Like it's pretty much the same. We're pretty consistent over the years,
And I think that says something about the particular the cadence and the sound of Mickey Mouse, right? Like that like you said, it is a little more loose versus Kermit was a very specific voice done by Jim Henson.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
But even the guy that did it after Jim Henson, like that is almost the iconic Kermit voice to me, right? Like that's the one that I like always remember, right? And it sounded pretty similar to Jim, right? But it was just this new guy I know I've ranted about this too much. I'm sure people are tired of hearing me talk about how much I hate new Kermit.
But why don't we when they do more Muppet stuff in the park, and then
I guess how
awful it is.
Then I can yell about that. But no, I mean, I do think it's interesting that like for Mickey and Minnie, and I mean even like the other, I mean Goofy's been done by the same guy for a really long time now, but like I mean it's just kind of amazing they've been able to be that consistent with it, over the years, and it's even when the last voices that had done it for a really long time. I mean, even there's a new Minnie Mouse over the past couple of years because the old Minnie Mouse passed away, and I just don't think you can tell a difference. I've never like gotten to a point where I was like, man, this new Minnie Mouse terrible. Like they all sound the same, and it's I guess it's not a bad thing. I guess the consistency is good. And I mean, I don't know how heavily they process that. Like, so maybe that's, studio magic kind of thing, but, and Kermit's a little harder because, the Muppets are kind of live performers, like I mean, you could still studio it up for recorded stuff, but,
I feel that it's also it's not just saying, well, they can fix it in post and everything, but it's getting whoever's doing it to really work on you have to appreciate the fact that, there's people that can walk in and do a voice impression and, it's very good, but, there is work that goes into it. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen, there's a YouTuber named, Brian Hull. If you've,
is he the one that does all the Disney voices?
He does impressions of the characters to the characters at the park, which is, the videos themselves are amazing, but you can see where, and if you watch any of his other videos, like he does voice work and impression work, and he does talk about it is a process, and, voice actors do have to, work on it. And it's not that they hire you because it's like, oh, you sound like Mickey Mouse. A lot of times it's like, hey, you're close, but you gotta, here's some things to work on, and they got to take that back and, change inflection, change, tone, all that kind of stuff. So, you gotta that's the hard part, is that, you got to appreciate that somebody is putting work into it, but when it doesn't quite hit the right way, it's, it's very disappointing, for us. And I'm sure for the, the person doing the voice too, because, they wanted to put out something good. And if it doesn't hit the mark, that's that. I would see that as, a bit of a failure by myself, but that's me.
Not to go way off the Disney reservation, but there was a South Park documentary years ago about how they make South Park. I don't know if you watched that one, but they I think it's Trey does the voice of Cartman, right? But when he does the voice, he doesn't actually do the voice. He kind of does it in that inflection, and then they run it through a filter that makes it into that voice, right? So there's some movie magic that can happen, right? There's some things you can do, but
it's
wait. I love this new app.
Here we go.
No, I'm actually about to get in the shower, so you just have to stay tuned.
Oh, God.
But I wanted to try it out.
Please make sure you hit mute.
Well, I'm gonna mute myself when I shower, but yeah, I love the app though.
This is Damon has been waiting for an app so he could tune in from all the various locations that he's at for so long. So it's a good thing that Damon's an Apple guy, because Trevor and I cannot do this. They don't have it for Android yet, so it's just iOS. So of course. That's hilarious.
Right, so Damon will be back in a bit.
Damon's here but not here. Now everybody has to have the image that Damon's showering. That's terrible. I don't think we need that in our lives. All right, anyway, let's get to listener questions. What a weird tangent to start off on.
This went into a weird place and came back from a weird place. So
I also, by the way, though, I don't know if you do this. I do this all the time, and it makes me laugh. We'll just be watching something random, some random cartoon, and I'm like, that voice is Jim Cummings. He's just because you can tell, you can hear. His voice is very, very clear. Even when he's doing a bunch of different voices, in different inflections on his voice, you can always tell when it's him. And I'll be like, I bet you that voice is Jim Cummings. Then I look it up, and sure enough, it is. And there's a couple voice actors like that,
it has a rasp to it.
That's what it is.
It's a very specific rasp that, if you listen to Pete and Darkwing Duck, he both of those characters, although they're different. Yeah, exactly what you're talking about is you can hear that it's Jim.
Or then you have what's his name, John DiMaggio, who does Bender on Futurama, who just does the same voice always.
He's also Jake the dog on Adventure Time.
Adventure Time, but it's the same voice as Bender, though. That voice,
almost,
pretty much the same voice, right? So it's he doesn't really seem to do all that differentiated stuff, but. Yeah, you're right. I feel Billy West is another one of those too that you can pick up in a lot of places. Sorry, go ahead.
One that I'll be sad about because he's been doing it for so long is Frank Welker.
Oh yeah,
He does the voice of Scooby and Fred on Scooby Doo, and he's been doing it forever at this point. And I'll be sad when when he stops doing it, because like there's decades of Scooby-Doo shows that, like, even though like you're saying, other actors have changed, like even like Shaggy went from Casey Kasem to Matthew Lillard. Frank has been consistent through the whole thing, and even Gray Delisle, who does Daphne, same thing. Like it's one of those things where it's like, once the original voice actor goes away, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle this. But actually, to be fair, I haven't watched some of the more recent like Scooby-Doo, so maybe they've already changed it and I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, well, this is actually a well-timed conversation too, because the voice of Mario just said he's not gonna he's retiring too. So yeah, that's a big thing. He's been doing it for a very long time, right? So.
And that makes my signed Mario Kart 8 poster all that much better.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So this first question is, I wish Damon was not showering for, because I know you're not into sports at all, Trevor. So this is really a me question.
He can come back in and answer.
He's going to come back and just answer, right?
He's probably listening to all this and going, "Oh man!" Like,
I know, right? So DJ says, "Hey guys, not necessarily Disney related." But with the NFL season started around the corner and with the group having a fantasy football league, I've always wondered what sports team you support, if any. So I'm a Giants fan. I can tell you that Damon is a Cowboys fan, which is...
Boo. Dude, I can take this in the shower. Like, I can take this in the shower.
This is...
It's a little too echoey. That's the problem. Cowboys.
Oh my God, this is so ridiculous.
I can't. Oh no.
Oh, this is really bad. This is really bad. David's just going to take this thing everywhere now. Okay, but David's a Cowboys fan. I'm a Giants fan. But, so DJ says, being from Northern California, my teams are 49ers, Sacramento Kings, Sacramento Republic FC. Oh, look, he's throws in a soccer team in there, too. If Disney were to have an NFL team, and actually Damon asked this question in the group, similar to the Mighty Ducks, Angels, Orlando Magic, what would be the best name for it? Thanks, guys. Love the pod. Here's the thing. Like, I feel like the Magic took the best name already, right? Like, I feel like that's got to be the name, but it doesn't really feel like a football team name. What were you going to say, Trevor?
I mean, Mighty Ducks is hockey, and I mean, Mighty Ducks is...
Yeah.
That was good. Like when the whole Mighty Ducks thing came around, I think, they definitely did good with it. You're right. The Magic is the obvious choice, but I feel like there's something better they could do. I just don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
There's got to be like a tie-in or a pun or something that you could name a team after.
Because I think if you do word association with Disney, I think you say Disney and the first thing somebody says is Magic, right? Like that's like your word association, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get the Princesses. Could you imagine a football team called the Princesses?
The Fighting Igers. I don't know. I mean, I can't really think of what it could be, Yeah, it's just Magic is the one that comes to mind. I'm really like kind of lost on this because it needs to be like, football team names are like kind of like, I don't want to say tough names, but like you want to have like a good tough name, I guess, to it, right? Like even the Magic is not exactly the most intimidating name in the world, right?
Yeah, it's either an animal or something strong, tough. You're right. It's always like it's never. I don't know.
I got nothing.
Giants, Titans, yeah.
Well, there's already the Giants though, and there's already the Titans, right? So like, So I mean, I guess you could do the Sorcerers, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Sorcerers could work.
Could you do the mice, the Orlando Mouse, the Fighting Mouse?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess you could do the Ducks for Donald's, right? Ducks are not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, you already have the Mighty Ducks, so you could do Ducks. You could have a Ducks football team.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is a hard question. Right. But thanks, DJ, for writing in, and I appreciate you saying you love the pod. That's very kind of you. So Chris says, after seeing all of the blogs about how, and this is a question that's really well positioned for you here, Trevor. After seeing all the blogs about how empty Disney's been around the hurricane, would this make you ever want to experience one while there, just to say you did it and to see what the experience would be like? Trevor has firsthand experience with this. So.
Okay, so would I volunteer? Would I want to volunteer to be there for a hurricane? No. Because I have rescheduled a trip because of a hurricane. Because the thing is yeah, the park is quiet and all that, but it's not just the park. Like everything else is shut down for a while, which because it's not like and especially with the way a lot of the hotels are spaced out, it's not like you're contained to the hotel. Like it's like if you want to go get food, you have to go outside, which, during a hurricane you're not doing. So you have to be very, while the hurricane is coming through, you're really stuck in place. Right. And it is definitely an interesting experience. Like, when we experienced it, it came through at night, and it was, we were sitting in the room watching TV. We had gone, way beforehand, we had bought food. So, we had food, we had, we had everything we needed at that point, and it was, it was just a lot of noise. And to be fair, considering ours was only a Cat 1, I think the one that just came through was a Cat 3. So, I don't know what the difference is in terms of like how bad that feels to be. And I mean, a Cat 1 wasn't, it wasn't fun. It was a lot of noise. It was definitely worse than in terms of, wind and stuff flying around than any storm I've been in where I live. So that part was interesting to see. Would I want to basically shelve a day to 2 days of my Disney trip for that experience? No, because
yeah.
So like when it happened with us, it was that we were there on the Wednesday. They announced that the parks were going to be closing early at like 2 or 3 o'clock or something. So like we left the park, went back, went into the evening. By the next morning, the parks were open again by noon. So we really only lost like a day, but because of the beforehand, it wasn't like, oh, we just stopped and went to our room and whatever. It was like, all of a sudden we got into a mode of like, hey, we need to do some planning for this. Do we have, we don't know how long things are going to be down for. And the thing is you don't want to, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, things will, it'll close down, open up and everything will be fine. It was like, I don't know if, I don't know if we're going to have, or, if we're going to be able to get water when like afterwards, people know. Buy up all the water and food and stuff like that. It's like, you want to make sure you have at least enough stuff for your family. Like I was assuming like, it could be another, day before things were running again. Luckily for us, that wasn't the case, but I don't like being in that position of, having to plan for something like that when you're supposed to be planning for, what park are we going to next? What ride are we going to next? Right. Like it does take a big chunk out of your trip. But if you're there just to experience that, I can see where, okay, fine. If that's what you're wanting to experience, I guess, it doesn't feel disruptive to, saying, oh boy, we got to experience a hurricane. It's not like an exciting thing. It's like, yeah, that was interesting. And I know a little better now how to handle it. But, that doesn't mean that on my next trip that I'm like, oh, I hope there's another hurricane. That was fun. Like it's,
this strikes me as like one of those Disney checklist things where it's like, oh, I want to be like when you've gone to Disney so many times that you like want to have like new experiences that are weird and unique. You know what I mean? Like getting evacuated from X ride, right? Like, whichever ride it is, or,
seeing behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah. It's like when you get really deep into like having gone to Disney a lot and, it's one of those funny things. I probably if anything, so it's interesting because, you know, with this last hurricane, my mom lives in central Florida, and we've talked about this bunch. And initially the path of the hurricane was going to go right through where they are. And I was trying to convince them to come up here. But my sister, her in-laws are DVC members. I've talked about this before. They have tons of points, and they live in the same neighborhood as my parents. And, she was trying to convince them to go down to Disney to shelter from the storm at Disney. So, but they ended up not having to because they didn't really get hit in you know, where they're at. So, but I just thought it was funny. It was like, you know, no, like locals and people there were like, when there's a hurricane coming, you go to Disney because they build all of their stuff to withstand like a category 4 hurricane. So, you know that they're not only going to take care of you during that time because they have hurricane ride out crews, right, that will stay at the hotel with you and be there. And, you know, they have those people. And we actually, because it's interesting, Trevor, because we had that hurricane right at the beginning of our trip the last time. Mm-hmm. And so I actually was talking to some of the cast members just kind of about it, you know, and what they did. Because that one really hit, as you know, right? So, because that was the same hurricane you guys went through, right? So like, we just missed you guys, I think, right? Mm-hmm. That was the same one. So, yeah. So I mean, it's, you know, they have people that ride out at the hotel with you, and, you know, it's so they can always have, you know, people ready to serve, you know, to help you, and you know, Disney knows how to handle these things. It's just something they're really good at. So a lot of people, you know, will ride the hurricanes out there, and it's a good thing because they engineer their buildings very well, and it's a very safe place to be. So, but I don't think I'd go out of my way to do it.
No, and actually to your point about, you know, the ride out crews and everything, I will say the one thing that I guess, or, you know, if you wanted to experience a hurricane, I don't know why you would want to, but the one thing that actually was very interesting was the change of vibe at the parks and at the resorts leading up to it. That is something very interesting that, you know, talking about bucket list things is, that day when, you know, they're closing things down early, you know, there was some people that, you know, were like, oh, you know, let's rush over here and whatever, but you could kind of see people slowing down, and it was very like, you know, people, because, you know, Disney is very like if you just watch people, you can see determination on their face. You can see, like, you know, they have somewhere they're going, and you know, they're focused on whatever their plans are. And when the hurricane was coming, people seemed to kind of like, okay, well, you know, whatever, like they seemed to mellow out. And then when we were back at the resort, like I remember going into the lobby at the Polynesian because you know, all the stores were like the mercantile and everything was there. And, you know, I was going there to pick some stuff up, and, you know, there was people hanging out. There was characters in the lobby and stuff. And, it just, for as weird as it sounds, like, as much as, you know, it was stressful because a hurricane was coming, people just in general seemed more relaxed. And I think it was just, you know, because they didn't know, like there wasn't any, like, you know, I got to get here or I'm missing something, or, you know, that kind of like, you know, barreling forward, get out of my way attitude that a lot of people tend to have at Disney. It was very like, you know, everyone seemed a little more polite and a little more like, you know, hey, no worries. Like, yeah, right. Yeah. It was, it really, it was strangely calm. Like, so, you know, that's something that I would say, you know, is probably the most unique experience I took out of it. I didn't like, you know, the wind at 3:00 in the morning. That was, that's scary. It was not great, but, but yeah, you know, just seeing people like being at Disney and seeing everyone kind of, you know, wind down and chill out for a minute, is something you don't get to see very often. So so there's that.
So I'm back. Let's see if this works. Headphones on and everything. So my parents were just there, actually.
Yeah.
During this hurricane.
Oh, okay.
And they were through the big one where it actually was shut down. So they've been through two. You know, as I was talking to them this time, you know, they were looking to cancel some of their stuff. I guess they had, you know, the Keys of the Kingdom tour, which they loved, by the way. But they didn't cancel anything.
They liked
it? They did. They loved it.
It's a great tour. Yeah, it really is.
My mom's a little bit more like, she's read all the Disney books and she's all about that. Like, I don't necessarily have an interest, but they did enjoy it. And again, since it was just the two of them, it was a lot cheaper. But this is the second hurricane. Like I said, they were through that really bad one where Disney was closed down for a while. But this one, they said, wasn't so bad. I think really for them, it was one day that they decided not to go anywhere until 3 o'clock. That was really the only impact that they had this time. But the last 2 trips for them, haven't been, having a hurricane 2 times in your trips to Disney is kind of tough. But, the parks aren't that busy. So there is that aspect of it. Like, you can probably accomplish the same amount of things, whether you like it or not is debatable. But, they got caught in a pretty torrential rainstorm, they said. But other than that, it really wasn't a huge impact. But, now talking about their trip, the 2 things that, they did find interesting, like I said, besides the Keys to the Kingdom, which they liked, which, again, I don't think I'll end up doing, but they enjoyed it. They also, it was funny when I was asking about those medallions, because those medallions are super cool, by the way.
I didn't see the medallion that you were talking about. I just saw you said
the DVC one. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
The DVC medallion. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it was funny. I was so concerned about I really want one of these. And then I was like, 2 days later, I'm like, my parents are in Disney. What am I doing? Like, why am I not just asking them? So interesting story. So in the parks, they did not give them out anymore. And I think that's probably because, everyone kind of glommed them in the beginning and they were supposedly, a surprise thing, not for everybody sort of situation, right? So what ended up happening is that when they went back to, I think, did they go to Saratoga or Riviera? Maybe the Riviera, because that's where they stayed. They stayed at Riviera and they got an upgraded room, by the way.
Did they like it?
Loved it. Oh, yeah, they loved it. They saw the fireworks, they had a fireworks view, and
that's awesome.
They really enjoyed it.
Nice.
And their room was one of those rooms that's a little bit larger because of where it was in the hotel.
Oh, yeah, so it's like
big.
A corner room or one of those ones that has a little bit more square footage. Yeah.
Yeah, so they really enjoyed it. But so what happened was I'd said something to them and I'd sent them the picture of it, and I'm like, can you get me one of these? And again, they were in the parks, and the parks, huts were like, no. They went back to the resort, and at the resort, our DVC guide retired. So I guess this may have had a little something to do with it. But when they went back to the resort, and the lady's like, oh, you don't, your guy retired. Like, do you have a person? And they're like, no. And the lady's like, oh, I see you're from North Carolina. Like, I was, grew up in North Carolina, blah, 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 blah. So they ended up getting one. And then my mom was like, I'm going to go back and ask for like one for me, right? Because she's like, why she wanted one, she didn't know. But she's like, oh, whatever. So she goes back and she's like, hey, listen, she explains the whole situation. Like, hey, my son sent this to me, blah, 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 blah. And the guy goes, you know what? He goes, because you didn't come over here and give me a whole song and dance and try to lie to me. He goes, I'm not supposed to, but here's another one.
Oh, nice.
For your son. I was like, oh, okay, right. So it does, sometimes work out in your favor when you tell the truth, which you always should be doing anyway.
Yeah, of course.
Especially at Disney.
I think,
yeah, exactly.
Especially at Disney. I think the other thing that was super interesting that I didn't really think about before that my parents, again, saw was, so they're in Riviera and they see a dog, like kind of hanging around, right? And they're like, it's kind of weird, right? Like a dog just hanging around in Riviera. Like, and I was like, oh, maybe it's a service dog. And they're like, no. My dad ended up going to ask, and it was the bedbug dog.
Oh,
so
okay,
but
yeah.
No, in a good way. So I guess what they were saying is that they bring in the dogs more regularly, I guess, than people would think, to just check.
Proactively check, like, so it doesn't get out of control. That's good, yeah.
Good.
Yes, which I thought was a very good thing. Because I never really thought about that too much, to be honest with you. But I've never gone to Disney and been worried about that. But it's nice to know that they're a little proactive, because I think more hotels are probably reactive than proactive. But I understand, being at Disney, it makes sense to be a little more proactive with something like that.
Well, because it doesn't matter how nice of a place that you're at. It's bedbugs can be anywhere. Yeah, like they can be anywhere, and especially there's a lot of international, visitors that could come. That during the trip they could come. They could come over or just really from anywhere. I mean, it could happen from anywhere. So. Like it's good that they check for that, because I remember they've had issues in the past with it, but I mean, again, it doesn't matter how nice and clean your place is, you can have bed bugs at the nicest restaurant, the nicest hotel in the world. It can happen anywhere. So, and
I guess the last thing that they said was they really enjoyed Topolino's. Like, I've really want to go to Topolino's. They said that it was probably the best food that they've had on site. Wow, they really enjoyed it.
Wow,
yeah. And then they did the food and wine. But again, like as I, myself mentioned, like, dude, going back to back Food and Wine, like there's some new stuff, but not enough that it's like I feel like I have to go every year.
Yeah,
So they kind of felt the same sort of way, and they were like, well, but then Topolino's was really good. They enjoyed that, and I think that was it. They rented a scooter, but they did this. They said that the best part about Riviera is the Skyliner and the scooters. My mom is disabled, so she needed the scooter, and it just they said it was so much less anxiety than dealing with the buses, dealing with Skyliner if you have a scooter.
Oh yeah,
totally.
Like I don't know if I ever told you the story. Like last time they were there, the guy on the bus didn't like say anything to my dad. Like he's like, no, you got to pull it in. And so my dad's trying to pull it in, and then the guy grabs the handle and kind of tries to scooch him in. My dad's hand hits like a piece of metal on the bus and starts bleeding.
Geez.
Like it turned into a disaster. So I feel like, yeah, Skyliner way better, especially for things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They enjoyed it. They definitely went to see things again. They did not do Tron, but they, or Guardians of the Galaxy, but they did the stuff that they had kind of done before. And I haven't had a chance to they just got back last night, so I haven't really had a full chance to talk to them outside of that. But I'd be curious to see if they got to see at least some of the walls down in Epcot or not.
Yeah, I saw that some of the walls are starting to come down, so it's getting towards the end of that, which is good.
So what happens if my phone just dies?
I'm assuming you just will
find
fall
out.
Yeah, I guess you'll just fall out. Why is your phone?
Will
die?
it be uploaded though? I feel like
I also want to say too, like we last week, your audio sounded the best that it's ever sounded because we fixed some things, and now you're on the phone app on your headphones with Jeremy level audio.
Oh, absolutely, 100%, 100%. I mean, this is not going to be a regular occurrence for me. It's just we changed the day. I didn't actually, when we talk about changing the day, I didn't actually mention a time. And then when Tom and Trevor came back with the time, I'm like, dude, I'm playing tennis, so I'm going to be a little late. And I didn't want to miss jumping in there with all the.
No, this is great that we have. You have the phone app now that you can do.
So I can do this now, like from like anywhere.
Yeah, you can podcast from anywhere.
I could be at like. Could I be in the car? Like, I mean,
as long as you have a signal,
awesome.
That would be sketchy. I mean, I guess it depends on where you're going.
Like, you sound pretty decent right now. I mean,
I mean, right now I'm just using AirPod Pros, but version 1.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Not the worst. But I do have a lightning adapter for the phone. And maybe I could get something better. I'll have to see. But these are fine for now.
Get yourself like a little portable microphone that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. So just we have a couple DVC news items. So DVC adds email notifications for annual dues autopay. So I pay monthly. I don't like paying mine all at once. And I know, Trevor, you don't have the convenience of getting to do this, unfortunately, because they only allow it for US members. But I started getting these emails, and I'm not going to lie, it didn't freak me out, but I was like, wait, why am I all of a sudden getting this email? Like, this is a little weird. They didn't really warn me I was going to get this. Like, also, I don't love getting the emails because I kind of try to pretend like the payments don't come out of my account. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the best thing. I would say, filter them into another folder, maybe.
That's kind of what I feel like I need to do. Like, I don't want to see how much it costs. I just want to know, like, I want to avoid that part, Yeah.
But more communication's better, though. This is
is
definitely them moving in the right direction, because we know they've had issues along the way with implementing different things, but this seems like it was a fairly easy one. And yeah, people should know when those dues are coming out, because I guess you're right. I would want to know. I don't want to sit there and watch all my money disappear out of my account, but at the same time, anytime that I guess there's a lot of services that do this now, where it's like, if you have like a recurring monthly payment, you should be getting notified, and it should be done. Email is the easiest way to do it, and honestly, it's kind of surprising that Disney is like just implementing this now. Like it's kind of late.
Yeah, so they actually send you an email warning you it's going to come out of your account, and then they send you another one once it's been completed. So I don't know. For me, it's probably too many emails, but like,
It's definitely too many emails for me. I get so many emails, and I've tried to like kind of unsubscribe and call down. I'm sure there's some sort of preference you can adjust, isn't there? Though.
I mean, probably, right?
There has to be.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to turn it off. But I mean, when I first saw it, though, I was like, "This is someone trying to get into my account." Like, it kind of freaked me out for a second because I was like, "What is this communication? I don't know what this is."
I'm going to tell you that people on the web are kind of like annoyed by this.
Oh, no,
like,
I know. I saw people being.
I was surprised. Like fair amount of people have been like, "Yo, this is really annoying."
Yeah, listen. I agree. I mean, I don't find it annoying. It's more just like why. Like, I mean, I get it though. Like to Trevor's point, like it's good to have notification, but I just like I would have liked to known before it was going to happen. Like it just kind of happened, you know? What were you going to say, Trevor?
I mean, I'll be honest. The amount of email that I get at this point from various things, it's just in the sea of stuff that you get anyway. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And you're right. Like you, Damon, you know, I've been, you know, going through and unsubscribing, like, because I would get like, you know, spam from companies that I dealt with like years ago. And it's like, I don't even know why I'm still getting this. I'm not buying anything from them ever again. But yeah, it's too much email is definitely not a good thing. But at the same time, like I said, for something like this, because, you know, they are taking something out of your account, I think it's good that they're warning people, because I'm sure that there would be, you know, it's also in Disney's best interest, because if somebody doesn't have the funds in their account, you know, you don't want that monthly payment bouncing, and then that becomes a whole bunch of chaos, right?
So you don't want that.
Yeah,
I guess it's good. I guess, but David's right.
You should be able to change the settings.
Yeah, people are freaking out about it.
Yeah, of course.
So DVC's been teasing that they were going to do another Halloween event. So there's going to be a member Halloween event on 6 afternoons in September and October. So the dates are September 25th, 26th, 9th, 10th of October, 30th of October, and Halloween night as well. So it's an exclusive member event over by Disney's Boardwalk at the Atlantic Dance Hall. What I don't like about this event, by the way, is that it's from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. To me, Halloween doesn't start till it's dark. Like, I don't know. I don't want to celebrate Halloween during the day. Is that weird?
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, it should be in the evening, because I feel like 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. is very, like, if you're going to that, you're kind of dropping whatever else you've been doing through the day, going there, like it kind of breaks up your day. But, you know, I guess I could also see, like, you know, that is the hotter time of the day. So, you know, going and getting an event, you know, in a dance hall isn't the worst thing. But like you said, yeah, it doesn't feel very Halloween like, because it's a middle of the day party.
I'm not going to complain about a free event, right? Like I won't ever complain about a free event. Like I appreciate that it's a free event, and you know, so they have photos with Disney characters that are dressed in their Halloween outfits, as well as complimentary holiday treats, or in this case, Halloween treats. So, but so this event's available to members who are guests. So you have to be a guest. You also have to have a blue card or, you know, digital ID card at this point, right? But you got to be, I'm just going to call it blue card forever.
They call it membership extras, but yeah, if we say blue card, that's what that means.
Everyone knows what blue card means. Yeah. So you got to be a blue card member for this one. This is not available to the non-blue card folks out there, so sorry. But they are allowing an owner and up to 4 additional guests. So families of 6, sorry, you're out of luck.
Well, you should have both parents on the
I think is it per owner? Like my wife and I are both listed as owners, so like could I have up to 10 people between the two of us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because each of you has your own card and all that, right? So
yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Okay. Well, that works then. And then the Disneyland Hotel, it's going to host its first member event in October. So look at this. The Villas at Disneyland Hotel invites DVC members to attend a complimentary Halloween celebration dubbed, by the way, they could have come up with a better name than this.
This is terrible.
Disney Vacation Club Candy Craft and Characters. Let's just go with the alliteration here.
DVCCC.
DVC. I would prefer that to Disney Vacation Club Candy Craft and Characters. Like, my gosh, what a mouthful that is. I mean, at least call it DVC, so it just reduce the amount of words in there. But it is similar to the event we just talked about, right? So they're going to have treats, and they're going to have like, it looks like some characters and stuff like that. So this one is 3 to 5 p.m. At least it's a little bit later on 2 nights, October 17th and October 24th. So you do have to again be staying on at Disney property in Disneyland. Although it also says you could just have a ticket to the Oogie Boogie Bash, right? So, which is interesting. So you could be staying at a different resort, and as long as you have a ticket to that evening's party, then you can go to this.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess
it is.
That's probably because there's only 2 resorts there, so they can be a little more lenient on, people staying outside of the resort can get in.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just an interesting thing for them to have on there, especially when they are not doing that for the Disney World one. But again, it's different, right? Because there's so many DVC resorts at Disney World, and there's really just not at Disneyland. So, I get it. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of cool they were doing something for members at Disneyland. They really are trying to do things for Disneyland members, right? So
yeah, I think you're going to see Disneyland ramp up here over the next couple of years. Like, like you said, they're trying to, I think, make a Western DVC center. Like,
absolutely.
I don't know how well it's going to work, but yeah, I think they're definitely trying to focus on the West Coast. It looks like.
Yeah, I mean, between the lounge and the new resort and doing special events like this and I mean Moonlight Magic. I mean, they had a Moonlight Magic this year, right? I think. I mean, I remember there was one before the pandemic. I just don't remember if there was one this year or not.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But yeah, to your point, yeah, they're trying to mirror everything they're doing in Florida, in California,
except for coming up with decent names for things.
DVC4.
DVC to the 4th power.
Yeah, with the little 4 because
there's a little 4. Yeah. I mean, why couldn't they just call it the Disneyland Halloween? DVC Halloween party, Halloween member event. Like the one at Disney World doesn't even seem to have a name. It's just called DVC Halloween member event, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's. I think it's hard to come up with names.
Yeah, I get it. All right. Should we go ahead and do our ad?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do our ad.
All right. Our sponsor this week is DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company who is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 90% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2022, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com/welcome home or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 382-7767. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
Yeah, please do that. So I had to put this next item on here. I know we've been laughing about me liking food, and that's been a funny thing, right? But so I've talked about this before. I don't like pumpkin. I don't mind pumpkin spice though. And Disney put out an article of
I don't like either one of them.
Really? You don't like either one?
No. And my family loves like pumpkin pies at Thanksgiving. And
no. No,
thank you.
I don't do pumpkin pie, Damon. I like cinnamon, that cinnamony, nutmeggy kind of thing that is like, the spice.
I don't really even love cinnamon. Like if I'm apple pieing it up, no cinnamon. Rice pudding, no cinnamon. And everyone gets all bent out of shape, yeah.
Yeah, I'm bent out of shape.
Yeah, I'm not with you on that one, Damon. Sorry.
Yeah, I just like tart apple pie. That's it. I'm actually kind of excited because, Tom, being in New Jersey, you get great apples all the time.
Yeah.
And now that we're down south, you don't. Well, I shouldn't say that. Now that we live in North Carolina, we don't.
We have different.
But we're going up to Virginia.
Yeah.
We're going to Virginia to see my son, and we're definitely going apple picking.
Oh yeah.
But,
I mean,
no cinnamon, but that's my thing.
I love a good apple pie, man. If like I were going to rank my pies, I think apple pie is probably number one. I love apple pie.
I would agree with that, but again, it has to be tart. It has to be a tart apple pie.
I bet it's hard for you though to buy like a store-bought one because like they all have cinnamon. I feel like it's hard to find
don't.
it. No? You don't buy them or you just make them?
No, don't buy them. Like I don't think we've ever actually bought an apple pie.
Oh wow.
That's what my wife makes though. That's like her thing. So
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, no, I don't love this time of year when it's pumpkin spice everything, although I don't mind the pumpkin spice, but it does get up into everything. I mean, it does like seem like everything is pumpkin spice. But so Disney put out an article of all the pumpkin spice treats that you can enjoy at the resorts. So I just thought we'd talk about it because I thought it was kind of a funny article.
The problem here is that it's they do sometimes the pumpkin spice, but then they add in like pumpkin puree and stuff. So that's kind of so that's kind of ruining it for you. I mean, I would eat any of these. Like I'm going through this whole list and it all looks good to me.
Pumpkin chai cream puff that looks like a pumpkin. I mean, it looks cool, but it's, as you said, it's a pumpkin shaped cream puff filled with pumpkin chai mousse and white chocolate crunchy pearls. Nah.
Yeah.
No.
See, this is the dilemma though about not being by a computer where I can see all this.
You can't see pictures.
No, I'm out on this food. I mean, I will tell you though that I'm getting a lot of dishes done though. There is a benefit here because I really am getting a lot of dishes done. My wife has been out of town with my son. They were looking at a college in Tennessee, and like everyone was gone. My parents were in Disney because my parents live with us, right? So my parents were in Disney. My oldest is at college. Everyone was gone except me and my daughter, and I was like, wow, like even though it was just like 2 days, I was like, I have a lot more respect for single parents. Like this is not easy.
Yeah.
This is not easy at all. But yeah, it was definitely a different experience. So the dishes kind of got away from me and they're on their way home from Tennessee. And I was like, man, this is perfect. I love this. I love this. Portable studio. This is the best thing that could have happened all week when Tom said that this app was available.
I'm no joke. I got an email about it from our host and I was like, I have to tell Damon about this immediately. Cause like literally you've been complaining about this for years.
Years. Absolutely.
Years you've been saying, why do none of the podcast hosts have an option for an app? Like, and it's true.
I mean, this could be terrible. Like once you go to like mush it all together at the end, maybe this is terrible and that would be bad.
I mean, it sounds okay. Yeah. It's not your best quality. It's not as good as you were last week, but
I think we just need to figure out
if there's an issue.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. I think we just need to figure out a travel kit for you so that you can have like headphones and a decent mic wherever you are, like something small, right?
I think it's the mic part. I mean,
it's the
headphones
mic.
Obviously, it doesn't really matter. And these are just AirPod Pros. Like, I just don't know what's better than this in that same sort of format.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Like, because most earbuds, the microphones are not the greatest, right? So, like, you would have to have some sort of portable.
You can get separate plug-in mics, so we can look into something.
Yeah.
So the problem is with these, right? So for what I have, because my son uses, again, as a musician, it just drives me crazy. He uses his iPhone to record, which drives me nuts. So I was like, listen, at the very minimum, you have to have like a real mic. So we've been able to finagle a USB mic through the lightning connector, but you only get one or the other through that, Trevor. Like you can't have headphones and mic.
You can't only have
one.
Mm.
No,
but if your mic has a headphone jack in it, could you plug it into the headphone?
Yeah,
okay, so you could do that with your Yeti. Then you could.
But I mean, that it a little like defeats the purpose, right? Because I'm down here, like showering, doing dishes and stuff. Like
it takes away your movement. Yeah,
I almost need like maybe like a Jabra, like someone at a call center would have.
We need to get you a like a stick mic, like Bob Barker had, like the real skinny mic.
Yeah,
you just walk
but then I can't do dishes though. That's the problem.
True. Yeah, get you a lav, get you a lapel mic.
Yes, there we go.
Maybe we'll have to invest in one of those.
Or I'm telling you, I think maybe a Jabra, like over the ear with the good microphone.
We gotta get you one of those ones that they use in reality shows. That's like the necklace that hides the microphone in it. Have you seen
there you go.
There you go. We'll get you one of those.
I mean, I don't care what I look like, right? That's not the dilemma here. It's just quality wise.
Yeah. You know how I feel about quality. But listen, at least we can hear you. You're not breaking up. There's, it's very clear. So
yes.
So back to the food. Pumpkin churro funnel cake. See, again, they ruined this with pumpkin ice cream. I was in until they said pumpkin ice cream.
I will say the macarons are very clean looking.
Where are the macarons? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
those are cool.
The eyeball and the pumpkin macaroons. Yeah, they
almost look
good.
perfect.
Again, the problem is that they have, or actually, it's a pumpkin spice ganache. So
okay, I'm in.
You could go for those. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
found something for you.
I'll do pumpkin spiced. It's just it's the actual pumpkin itself that I don't like.
Yeah,
like I don't even like the smell of pumpkin. Like when someone brings a pumpkin pie around me, I'm like, ugh, no. Like I don't know, it grosses me out. But those are Disneyland things. I'm just looking here. There's a Jack Skellington eclair. That's pretty cool looking, man.
Is that looks more like Oogie Boogie than Jack Skellington?
Yeah, I don't know why it says Jack Skellington. Yeah, it's definitely not Jack Skellington, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if
it looks good though.
It does look good. I don't know. Is this just a misprint? I don't know.
Yeah,
weird. But this Donald,
that is my pastry though. Is eclairs. Like I feel like if there was any job title of world renowned eclair reviewer, that
would be you. Yeah,
but it's a pumpkin cream eclair though. So.
And that's just no good. It just needs
yeah.
to be thrown to the dogs.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, minus the chocolate, of course.
The ganachery has their classic pinata, but it's a Donald's candy corn pinata.
Oh, that's
no, it's not candy corn. It's chocolate. It just looks like candy corn.
Oh, okay.
And it's filled with white chocolate. It's white chocolate pinata filled with pumpkin spice marshmallows and crisp pearls.
I'm not really about white chocolate.
Oh, I like white chocolate.
I'm just no. It's not real chocolate though.
Yeah, I don't like white chocolate
either. No, it's just sugar.
I have a friend who's a chocolatier, and every time I've said white chocolate around here, she goes, "White chocolate's not chocolate." She's like,
exactly.
"Don't call it white chocolate; it's not a real thing." She gets very mad.
Exactly. But what is the official term then?
I don't know. Yeah, like what am I supposed to call it? White sweet stuff? I mean, I don't know. White chocolate like substance?
White confection. Yeah. It's a confection of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, what are you supposed to call it, right? It's like when you see frozen, what is it, frozen dessert or whatever instead of ice cream, or frozen dairy dessert. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Not technically ice cream, but
frozen non-dairy dessert is what I'm after.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. What is this pumpkin cheesecake bomba shake? What in the world is that?
Yeah, there's not even a picture of it.
No, but it's a milkshake made with pumpkin cheesecake gelato, caramel sauce, and a pumpkin cheesecake bomboloni. Okay.
I don't know what a bomboloni is either.
I don't know what a bomboloni is either. What is that? It sounds like an Italian thing. I'm going to Google that really quickly here. Oh, it's an Italian donut. Okay, I knew I'd heard that before. Okay,
so it's one of these
donuts
milkshakes with a donut on top.
Yeah,
okay. All right,
yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, wait, look at this mini pumpkin, man. Do you see this mini pumpkin? These desserts are cool.
Where did it go?
This is at Goods Food to Go and the Artist Palette over at Old Key West and Saratoga Springs. Yeah. This pumpkin is awesome looking, man. It's like really well done. And it's pumpkin mousse, caramel, dolce crunch, and chocolate decor, which I'm assuming is what's on the top. But man, that looks awesome.
Yeah,
looks legit.
It looks like it's dipped.
It does,
like a dipped ice cream cone.
Yeah, I would eat that one. I think, right? Pumpkin mousse. No, it's pumpkin mousse again.
What about this? The chicken adobo nachos.
What's pumpkin on this? Toasted pumpkin seeds. Okay.
Yeah, you got pumpkin seeds.
And a zesty pumpkin cheese sauce. Ooh.
Okay, yeah. Not sure about that.
Yeah, no. Please, no.
I was on board. Everything else is like, yep, good. And then, the pumpkin and cheese. I don't know if that's...
Feel like, no.
Yeah, I don't feel like those go together.
Doesn't feel like a good combo, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nothing else is jumping out to me on this one.
Yeah, it's all pretty standard, like, just nothing Disney looking. They're just like pumpkin things. Like here's a pumpkin tart, right? Or a pumpkin chocolate swirl cheesecake with a milk chocolate pumpkin coin, which it almost looks like bronzed in the picture, but I'm sure it won't look like that when you actually get one.
I should mention some of these things also show up in the next article, which is all about the Halloween food at Disney World. It's a foodie guide to early Halloween treats. Interesting that this article also lists this. Okay, so it was the wrong picture, Trevor, right? Because there is a Jack Skellington eclair on this page.
Okay, yeah.
And the Oogie Boogie's a cream puff. That was our fault.
Oh, okay.
That was our fault. We assumed that was the eclair, but it was actually...
They put the wrong picture up.
So. They did. but the Oogie Boogie Cream Puff is filled with cookies and cream mousse and topped with whipped cream.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. I'm eating that.
Yeah.
Cookies and cream mousse. Heck yeah. That sounds awesome. This Maleficent cake. Again, I mean, listen, Amaret's always puts out really cool stuff. Like it's like a legit, place. Like, and so like this mini cake, this petite cake is pretty amazing looking. And it sounds awesome too.
I'm already, sorry, you're talking about that. I'm already down trying to figure out what these Haunted Mansion things are, which is the Haunted Mansion portrait bars.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the disgusting looking shake that's above it. But
no, that looks nasty. But the bars look good because it's the 4 stretching room.
Yeah, it's the 4
pictures.
stretching room painting. Yeah, stretching room paintings.
Yeah, ganache bars with raspberry, salted caramel, chipotle, and passion fruit. So
okay, interesting.
It's got a little bit of kick to it,
and hopefully balanced out by the passion fruit and the raspberry. Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. What I need to know what this greenish looking
the hitchhiking ghost thing
chocolate chiller, a blend of 3 chocolates, malted milk, and cream. That sounds delicious. It just looks like
I wonder if it's just the lighting.
Is it just the lighting?
Very sickly. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a dark greenish, what I imagine sewage would look like.
Yeah. I was gonna say it looks like sewer water or something.
Yeah, it doesn't look great in this picture, but it sounds delicious, right? Like
we found this in a swamp. Here you go.
Like I'm a big malt guy. Like I love a malted shake, a chocolate malt shake. Oh yeah, I love malts. Malt's delicious. So I would definitely have this. Let's see what else we got here. Anything that stands out to you that we haven't talked about already? Yeah, whoopie pie, I feel like we talked about the one that's the
monster whoopie pie.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
a lot of these are definitely repeated from the last one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. That's all we need to cover on that. Then let's go to Disneyland. Let's talk about this Disneyland news. Let's talk about what's going on over there. This is kind of cool. I'm not like a Disneyland person, but I really kind of dig what they're doing here.
This is kind of big. They're expanding the grounds around Haunted Mansion, and it's going to have its own retail shop coming finally.
Much like Disney World has Memento Mori, right? Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, there's Haunted Mansion's always kind of been like there's New Orleans Square, Haunted Mansion, and Splash Mountain, and so it's just kind of like shoved in between there. But like it works with New Orleans Square, but there's not been anything around there, and it looks like they're from the pictures, it looks like they're actually expanding the exit, which is surprising because the exit they cut off when you come out, it's like you come out and there used to be like a pet cemetery that you could go and walk into, but like years ago they blocked it off, and so there's been like a whole section that had been unused right next to the exit, and it looks like that's where the shop is going. But then they're opening up that whole area that it looks like it's going to be a lot more open, and the queue is getting redone for anyone that's been to Disneyland. And I mean, this is a general Disneyland thing, is that the queues are from the 1960s, meaning that they're very tight, very small, and it's just a lot of switchbacks. So they're redoing the queue. It looks like they're taking some inspiration from the queue in Florida,
the Disney World version.
So there's going to be like it looks like the tombs are what are those? They're not tombstones. They're like
they're like I mean they're kind of tombstones. I know what you're saying though.
It's like these
like busts. Would you call it maybe?
Yeah. There's the bust, but then like there's like the big where the casket sits in. I guess it is a tomb. It's like there's like where the where you can play the music and stuff like that, right? So they're taking pieces from that, it looks like, but it's not going to be exactly the same looking from the pictures. It actually looks like there's going to be kind of a garden in there, which is going to be
Yeah, it almost like looks a little
yeah.
flowery and bright, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
but I have to wonder if it's going to be, kind of like how like a cemetery garden is. I feel like it's going to have that kind of vibe where it's it's nice, but it's still a cemetery.
yeah, because I just zoomed in on this picture, right? So it's like there's a big tree in the middle. It looks like there's a fountain of some sort coming up, like a wall fountain. It looks like there's a statue. It almost looks like a statue of a mouse. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but over to the left, all the way to the left.
Yeah.
So
probably again, they may be bringing back in stuff from the pet cemetery.
Yeah,
because the pet cemetery, like because they have like the tombstones that have like the jokes on them and stuff.
Yeah,
they had the pets for that, and there is a pet cemetery at the exit in Florida. Like if you actually, when you walk out, like it's funny, it's very hard to see, but it's actually like if you look left, it's like on the side of a hill, and at the top there's actually there's the Mr. Toad, what's it called, the thing that used to be on the top of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is up there.
Oh yeah.
So,
if I would have read the actual article, it says the one-eyed cat in there, so I'm guessing that's maybe the cat, a statue of the one-eyed cat. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so that's fantastic that this whole area is getting a facelift, because it really did need it.
Yeah, no, it's cool that they're doing the the immersive, and it looks like interactive, they're probably gonna do some interactive stuff, because it says unique elements ranging from a water fountain and a gazebo to themed statuary and landscaping. And they'll be able to see a new greenhouse where the groundskeeper for the Haunted Mansion grow their plants, the pet cemetery.
Ooh,
yeah,
that'll be cool.
Yeah. So, listen, this is great. I've noticed that they're doing a lot of these kind of like beautification projects at Disneyland, seemingly, you know what I mean? Where they're not doing like huge things, but they're doing like what they did in Toontown, where they're like having like these kind of like open spaces that are like, filled with like, more trees, and like, it just feels like they're doing like more of that kind of stuff. More like, I don't want to say call it a landscaping project, because that makes it sound like it's bringing nothing.
It's bringing back that vibe that Disney. I mean, like early Disneyland didn't. It had a lot more open space, and over time, like, as more attractions opened up and everything, you can see where, you got things like ride queues and stuff that, they were just trying to figure out how to get people, into queues so that they weren't lining up all over, the different lands and stuff. Right. So, this is kind of going, or it's finding that happy medium where the queues are still the queues, but it's, they're set up in such a way that it doesn't feel like you're standing in a queue.
Exactly. Yeah. It is cool that they're opening a Madame Leota themed shop too. That's cool. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fully expecting it'll be just a mirror of Memento Mori.
Yeah.
It'll carry all the same stuff you would find in Memento Mori.
It'd be cool if they made it different though. Like if they did, listen, don't get me wrong, Memento Mori is cool. Like we always go in that shop just to kind of see what kind of random stuff they have, because they do always have really weird merch in that store, which is cool. Yeah. Like I'm glad they don't just have stuff that just say like Haunted Mansion on them. Like they always have like really kind of fun stuff in there. But it'd be kind of cool if they did something different for Disneyland, but who knows? They probably won't.
My only thing with that is then it becomes an issue of, this has always been issues like, oh, this thing's only available in Disneyland and not Disney World, right? Like I see, I know what you're saying is, it's cool to have something unique to that particular park, but on the whole, I think, it should carry a lot of what Memento Mori does. Yeah,
no, I agree. And the other thing they're doing too that they announced in here is that they're making enhancements to the plaza adjacent to Tiana's Palace. This area is one that holds a lot of memories and history, so they're making it a park-like setting. Again, another place for people to relax and enjoy the ambiance. They're going to have the live entertainment there, and then they're going to put in new trees, and kind of just make it like a little park kind of setting, which again is, it seems to be they're doing like a lot of these kinds of things at Disneyland, which is not a bad thing, because I've not been to Disneyland, but it's I know it's smaller, and I know that especially in like Disney World, even it can feel like a lot sometimes, and it can feel like it's weird when you have when you're walking through the hub, right, and they have all those green spaces where you can kind of in this the busiest theme park in the world, kind of almost sit and have like a serene moment just sitting on the grass, and like enjoy yourself, like, and so like those kinds of spots I feel like are not, like you said, you don't have as many of them anymore, right? And that's something I think that is good to add. I think people enjoy having these little places to sit and relax and just take a moment away from the crowds and just enjoy the scenery, enjoy the entertainment.
Yeah, Florida needs to do that more, but yeah, Disney's always been, or Disneyland has always been really good at that. I feel like we've always, like you're talking about, we found those spaces in various parts in the parks. This area in particular, they have a jazz band that plays there, which is like it's a very cool vibe when you get, when you walk in there, and I'm just imagining what it'll look like after they finish Tiana's and everything. Is you'll have the jazz band playing, and then the cool thing is that it's the thing that I always liked about that area, and I'm sure that they'll keep it there, is that the park will be very like bright, and you'll hear the jazz playing, and it's very upbeat and everything, and then you start walking over towards Haunted Mansion, and like Haunted Mansion just has its own aura about it that like it's cool because it goes from like this like happy, and then like you walk up and it's kind of like, oh, like here's the scary house at the end of the street kind of thing. Like
exactly. Yeah.
It's very cool how they do that. And I'm sure they'll keep that intact after all these improvements.
Yeah, no, I would think so. So, yes, this is cool. So, and then the last item we have on here is actually technically DVC news. I probably should have put it with the DVC stuff, but wait, did Damon just add something in here? Parents trip. This is all the stuff that he already talked about.
That was his notes. Yeah.
We might have lost him at this point. He might be gone. But anyway,
he's doing dishes.
Yeah, he's doing dishes.
No, I'm here. I'm still doing dishes, man. you have that. You guys have air fryers, I'm assuming?
I do have an air fryer. I haven't used one in a while, though.
So instead of having to clean out the air fryer all the time, you have those BPA food quality liners.
Silicone things, yeah.
Yeah. So we have those, and it works really good to clean them if, like, you clean them right away. But then if you let them sit for 4 days, here I am with a toothbrush. So yeah, no, I'm still here. I mean, it's Disneyland stuff. I don't care about it.
Yeah.
But I'm still here. Amazingly enough, I'm still here.
You are still here. I mean, listen, this phone app has been great for you because we get to keep you longer,
I'm just glad we don't hear like the dishes banging around and stuff as you're like.
Yeah, I'm just glad he's not in the shower anymore, yelling things from the shower. Like that's like that was a shocking part of this episode. So Disney animation inspired mural will be in the villas at Disneyland Hotel, which I love when they do this stuff, man. Like I don't know, like that. Like the little tile mural that they have at like Riviera, like, they've been doing this kind of stuff, but I love the fact that they're doing this mural and it's got a lot of, the characters in it. Just taking a look at it here, I see, I see Alice in Wonderland. It's an interesting choices here, right? So you have Alice in Wonderland. I see Mowgli. I see Moana. I see Sorcerer Mickey, Simba. I see Snow White.
Raya.
Yeah, Raya, which is a movie I still have not seen yet.
It's a good movie. It's not the best one, but
yeah, I got to check that out. I see Aladdin and Jasmine. Oh, I see Baymax in the background. Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, obviously Frozen characters, Encanto, Tiana, and Bambi. Right?
Oh, there's Babe. Oh, okay. I was looking for like white Baymax, not the
Baymax flying Baymax, right? So it's just an interesting collection of that they decided to go with. Like Jungle Book to me feels like an interesting inclusion there.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't feel like you see a lot of Jungle Book. That's all.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I feel I see enough Jungle Book stuff, and Jungle Book is kind of just assumed for me.
That's fair.
The ones that surprise me is like. Well, Raya, obviously,
right,
and having Mirabelle from Encanto in there, like some of the newer ones, right? That's a little more surprising to me at this point.
I actually feel like I need to watch Raya with my daughter because we are going to Disney on Ice in a couple weeks, and I think Raya is in the Disney on Ice show, and I feel like we need to watch it just so we can, know what the deal is with Raya. So, yeah, I'm actually going to Disney on Ice on the 30th. So yeah, about 4 weeks from now. So yeah, that'll be fun. I'm actually excited for Disney on Ice. I mean, last time I did it, I was like, obviously a kid. So like, it's kind of be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I did it once, and when I was a kid, and I just did not care. Like I thought it was boring, but I
know what it was all about for me, Trevor, was, and this is so true. I like everybody that's been to Disney on Ice is going to shake their heads in their cars or wherever they listen to this in. It's all about the little light up toy that you get when you're there. Because I remember when I was a kid, it was the Disney on Ice it was probably right around the time that like Aladdin was out, right? So I remember that I had one of those light up stick toys, and when you turned it on, it was like the scene where Jafar is a snake, right? And so like Jasmine's stuck inside like the hourglass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think like Jasmine was on the inside, and there was like a bunch of like little puffy stuff that could fly around, and like you turned it on, and like the puffy stuff flew around on the inside, and there was like a spinning Jafar on the top. It was like the coolest thing ever. But like literally, like that's, to me, like I know my daughter's gonna want one. In fact, nowadays when you go to buy the tickets for the show, you can literally do those as an add-on. You could just buy them right then, like because it's become such a thing.
You see, my parents had 3 kids, and
so that was
we never got stuff like that. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I think that was why, we would go to the show, you'd see all the other kids with all the light up stuff, and we're sitting there, enjoying the show, but it was like, or trying to, like I said, I guess I don't care that much about figure skating, and my wife's going to get mad at me because she used to figure skate, but I don't care about it that much. So yeah, to me, the whole on ice thing, and the problem is that those toys, like I get it now as a parent, is like, when your kid's like, oh, this cool toy, it's like, yeah, you're gonna play with that for 5 minutes, and by the time we get home, you'll forget about it. So
see,
why would I spend the money on it? But
my 5-year-old will play with it for a long time. I can guarantee you she will play for a long. Like, we have gotten the most use of anything I think we've ever bought as the bubble wand that we got from Disney World the last trip, the Ariel bubble wand. We use that thing weekly. Like, it is a fixture in our house because my daughter loves bubbles, and it's the easiest way for me to make hundreds of bubbles all at once instead of sitting there blowing bubbles the whole day. So
yeah, I get that. Kids all have different things that they get attached to, but like I said, yeah. I guess for the cost of those things at Disney on Ice, like, they're not cheap.
Oh no, I think it's like $40. I'm pretty sure it's the add-on was like $40. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was, my parents' reasoning back then. It was, for something, I mean, even if it was like $20 back then, it's like, for, times 3 kids,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. It gets expensive real quick.
But anyway, this mural, I like the style of this mural. They actually don't say where it's going to be, do they? They don't. Did they say where it's going to be in the hotel? Is it the lobby, or
I mean, I would assume it'll be in.
It says the moment they enter the new towers, they're greeted by this mural. So I guess it's right,
it'll be
right in the entrance. So yeah. And apparently there's a bunch of hidden Mickeys in here, which I have not found any. Although, wait, I just found one. Okay, but there's a bunch of hidden Mickeys in this. So you're gonna laugh at this. I actually know a lot about this mural only because DVC's running a contest. Do you guys know about this? About the contest that DVC's doing?
No.
So they have a contest where if you watch these videos about the new resort, like they have like 5 different videos, or like, no, I think it's 4 videos, right? And each video you watch, and they're like 5 minutes long, you get 4 entries into this contest where they will fly you out to Disneyland, and you can stay for I think it's 4 days. I think it's 4 days, 3 nights, or 5 days, 4 nights at one in a 1-bedroom villa at the new resort, and all expenses paid, that whole thing, right? So I got an email for this. I was like, I'm going to enter this contest. Why not? But basically, like, you have to watch this 5-minute video, and then you get 4 entries. And if you watch another 5-minute video, you get 4 more entries until you get to, I think 16 was the max, right? So I just kind of had the video on in the background while I was working, just to get to,
So
yeah.
Where did you hear about this contest? Because
I got an email about it. I got an email.
Oh,
yeah.
I wonder if
it might not be open to Canadians.
Yeah, that's probably the case.
Sorry. Sorry, man. I don't know. I don't know if you can find information. I can forward you the email though if you want.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
yeah. I'll look at the terms and conditions of it. Maybe see if it excludes Canadians. But you should. I mean, I was like, I might as well enter. I never win anything, but you never know. I mean, everyone keeps telling me I need to go to Disneyland, and I would like to go to Disneyland. I just got to make it happen. So, anyway. Yeah. So, but anyway, those videos were all about the creation of the mural. So, and they had like a design contest essentially.
Right.
So they had a bunch of different people make murals, and then they chose one. So,
and I actually didn't look at who the artist is for this.
It's in there somewhere.
Her name is. I saw it here, and I can't find it now.
Oh, here we go. I found this contest. It's called the Stay Inspired Sweepstakes.
Okay, yeah, I've gotten nothing on it. So Lorelei Bove, I think, is the artist on this.
Yeah, that's the person. Yeah, I don't know who that is though.
Oh, she's provided illustrations for several Little Golden books.
Oh, okay. We read those all the time. So,
which actually makes sense looking at the mural because it does have that Little Golden Book vibe to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. That's true. Oh, sorry. I'm just reading. Only open to legal residents of the 50 United States.
Of course.
Sorry to Trevor and to all of our international listeners. I know we have a lot of people that listen in England and Australia and all over Europe. So sorry. Apologies.
I'll just plan my own trip down there. The funny thing is since we're talking about, all these things they're doing to improve Disneyland is more like, we've been saying for a while, it's like, yeah, we're going to go back to Disneyland in a while. Like we haven't concrete decided yet because of the fact that there's still enough stuff going on in Florida and like with COVID and everything. It's like, we still want to just go to Florida and experience everything that we haven't experienced there. But
I mean, you still need to do like Rise of the Resistance. You still need to do like,
Mickey and Minnie's and stuff.
Mickey and Minnie's. You still need to do Tron. Like you've got a lot of new stuff for your next trip. So
yeah, exactly. So we're still very much like, let's go to Florida. But the more I'm seeing this stuff in Disneyland, it's like I keep in the back of my head, I'm like, I could probably get 2 days down there. Like, like how could we do a quick trip?
How could we make it
Disneyland?
happen? Yeah.
It's becoming more and more of a thing. Definitely that, I'm thinking about it and, it may be like usually I plan like the trips to Florida because it's a bigger trip. We plan them really far in advance, but, I may just pop down there at some point here in the next year. just to do it. Yeah. Because it's much easier for me to get to Disneyland than it is to get to Disney World.
It's a much longer flight for you. Yeah.
Yeah. But the funny thing is because of DVC, Disney World's actually cheaper for me than Disneyland.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird thing, right?
It's weird, but it works. Yeah.
Well, why don't we go ahead and wrap this up unless Damon has anything else he wants to bring up, if he wants to talk more about his dishes.
Now that I'm at the end of it, sure. Absolutely. A ton of stuff to bring up. How's that?
How's the silicone thing going?
All good. It's in the dishwasher now. It is. It's in but dude, there's no way.
You don't want to run those through the dishwasher if they're coated in something.
I don't know, man. My dishwasher gets everything off, man. It's like
nuts.
I don't know how that doesn't work in this house. Like my wife thinks that's the case too. It doesn't work. Like you can't if you leave stuff out for 3 days, you can't just throw it in the dishwasher and there's some magic fairy that goes in there and makes it clean. Like that doesn't work like that, man.
Especially those silicone things. They're harder to clean than you think.
Anything.
Anything. All right.
I would say that the 2 things that I want to chat about were, has anyone seen the new Star Wars show?
Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Ahsoka?
Yeah.
I heard it was good. I haven't watched it though.
I haven't watched it either.
It's okay. Right. But I think the bigger thing is those 2 Tennessee Pigeon Forge things. The one that they got posted.
Oh, the Nerf thing?
About the Nerf.
Yeah.
The Nerf thing looks really cool. So there's going to be a huge Nerf arena. I think it's around 30,000 square feet, something along those lines. And it's going to have obstacle course, battle arena, and all that. But the same group that's putting that together is also doing, what is the 6th Crayola experience? Now, Tom, I'm sure you're familiar with the one in Pennsylvania,
I've been to the one in Pennsylvania, yeah.
Yeah, me too. So that they're doing one in Pigeon Forge as well. It's becoming interesting because there's a lot of stuff going there. And because it's not, the money's not coming from a single source, I think there's a lot going on.
It's a bunch of outside investment that's coming in. Yeah,
it's an interesting thing. Like a Nerf thing, I could definitely see myself kind of looking to do that. There's still a lot of things that we haven't done there. So Chris was kind enough to point that out, which was kind of neat. But a Nerf arena, like I kind of am on board for that.
Can you imagine if it was your job to pick up all the Nerf darts after every battle? I mean, that seems like
there's got to be some sort of machine. I feel
there has to be, right?
It's like the ball picker machine at a driving range or something.
Yeah,
there's got to be something that takes care of them. But
I'm just imagining how much my back would hurt. It's just like trying to pick up darts all day long.
I think it's going to be an interesting area as it continues to get bigger and bigger. And again, there's a lot of land that Dollywood owns, so it will be interesting. It makes me upset that the Void didn't come back, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Does it make you guys mad sometimes when you see how cool the Nerf stuff is now compared to when we were kids? Because the Nerf stuff now is like they've got some really even water guns too, the Super Soaker stuff too.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that the Super Soakers were still pretty darn good growing up, so I'm okay that the Nerf stuff wasn't as good because water guns are far superior to Nerf anyway. I feel like
I want that one
around here.
Think about it though, dude. If you get hit by a Nerf dart, right? What's your penalty?
Yeah, but he's saying it's too cold, right? You're saying you're not.
You got about a week you can play with a Super Soaker up here, and then it's too cold.
Yeah, but it's not like you don't have summer.
Yeah,
it's not as long as you think.
It's very short.
You can have a Nerf fight in the fall, but you're not busting out your Super Soaker in September.
I feel like the problem with Nerf fights is the same thing as playing paintball without a referee. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, you didn't hit me. Yeah.
Or like airsoft. Like, no, that didn't hit.
Yeah.
But that at least hurts enough that even if you got hit, it's still there's some sort of penalty you have to pay, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm just thinking to myself, like, have you seen like the water gun that you could like use rechargeable that you can like it fills itself up and like shoots like water bullets?
Fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. I still like the ones that fire with the Orbeez now, like that. That's also super cool.
Oh yeah, those are cool. Yeah.
And then they're getting like cooler and cooler. I feel like there's some pretty neat stuff. So
yeah, because when I was a kid, man, we would have like Super Soaker like battles. Like they would like all the neighborhood kids would like get their Super Soakers, and we would just run around like. But
that sort of play doesn't exist anymore.
No, that's not a thing anymore. No, yeah.
Like the neighborhood play, like again, maybe there's some neighborhoods, but not as many of them as there used to be. So
my kid had Nerf gun fights when he was younger. They would be outside. On like you're talking about, like it would be all the kids bring their Nerf guns, and then you find darts around the neighborhood for months afterwards.
Yeah, that's the problem with Nerf guns is you always like find you just like always lose a dart no matter what. Like there's always a dart missing, and then you find it years later. And I mean, it's funny to me though because it feels like doing a Nerf arena is like a de-evolution, like compared to like laser tag. It's basically laser tag with more work. I don't know.
It's better.
Is it though? I don't know.
It is because
it's tactile at least.
Yes. Yeah, but laser tag, you get shot, it vibrates. You feel it. Like,
yeah, but you know what the problem with laser tag is? The same thing. Like, dude, I can block my thingy. Like, you can't block in Nerf gun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
That was always the problem I had with laser tag. Was the blocking of the sensor was that was a game plan. That was definitely a game plan. It's like tucking your flags in flag football. Like they were just it was a game plan. But
they had that in the rules at our laser tag that you can't block sensors for that.
Yeah, I'm sure, but who's stopping you?
But nowadays, though, you have sensors on your shoulders, on your back, on your front. You can't block all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
you
depends on where you're playing
corner.
laser tag, I guess, but.
Yeah, I mean,
the laser tag place I worked at in high school, they had sensors on the shoulders, front, back, and on the gun too. So, like, even on the gun, there were sensors that you could hit. So,
yeah, Yeah, that's cool. I mean, the only other thing I would say that is, I don't know if are you guys Adventure Time people?
We were talking about this. We talked about it last week. Actually,
Yeah.
Adventure Time
So
came up earlier
now
in
I'm
the
on
episode too.
Yeah, so now I'm on season 3, and I'm starting to buy in. So I'm gonna keep everyone up to date as I go through all the seasons. But I'm on season 3. It's in theory, I think, getting a little bit more serialized. I think. So we'll see. But I'm gonna keep everyone up to date on my Adventure Time watching as well.
Yeah, it does. It does start to tighten up later on for sure. It's yeah. It has some moments, I'll say. Like they definitely. I know a few of the episodes kind of blindsided me with how like far away they went from the goofiness. Like it kind of got almost serious.
Got a little real.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we wrap this up?
Yeah. I guess that's
what about
Is that it, Damon?
store?
You had more?
What about the store, though?
I mean, we haven't really talked about that internally yet. So
the store will be up. It will be up this week, even if it's just with one item, so you can go. But we're going to post it in the group first. And this is for the golden button stuff that we're going to be putting up there. So yeah, I mean, you can expect to at least see a link to at least one item, even though there'll be more at some point in the coming week.
Yeah. So
how's that?
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see, David. I don't know if you've looked at the store yet, but there's two.
So there was one item. There's two.
Oh,
were there 2 different stores?
Yeah, I created one with a very large logo and one with a small logo. So
I think we need them both.
I don't know, man. The large logo one looks a little crazy.
well, okay. You know what?
Take a look. Just take a look.
We'll let people decide.
Yeah,
because there you go.
I think you all will see what we're talking about. I think the smaller logo
I felt like we
better.
limited options too much last time. People want different things than we want.
There's a lot of options. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, I like that.
Damon, you can actually we can get pickleball paddles with the logo on it. So
I don't think I need that.
You don't need a welcome home pickleball paddle? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't think so. And then the new logo is going to be here soon.
Yeah, like the one we're actually going to use for everything. Yeah.
I don't think we've actually announced that yet. Or I guess we're announcing
No,
that
I think
now.
I did.
Did we?
No, it's been on the group at least. It's definitely been on the group, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's going to look like this, everybody. If you like the old logo, you better order stuff because it's going away to be put in the vault, never to be seen again. And there'll be a new logo that is based on the old logo, but more modern. Then there'll still be the Patreon logo for the Patreon people, and then there'll be a new shirt. I think that's what we have coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
All right. So, Trevor, you want to wrap us up?
All right. So, as usual, if you guys want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love getting your questions and, hearing your trip reports or, anything you want to share with us. Keep it coming. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. Same thing on YouTube, and on Instagram, you can find us as Welcome Home Pics. If you're on Facebook, as Damon mentioned about the group, we have our Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. You can join that group to, see some of the stuff that we post in there about, upcoming things that we're doing. But also we have a lot of great listeners in there that, love to share knowledge, love to talk about Disney, and is just generally one of the best Disney groups on Facebook. So, make sure you guys join that if that's what you're after. If you want to help support the show, go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com. As Damon said, we have our current logo in there, which we have shirts and mugs and stuff like that. But we will be changing that up here in the future. So if you want the current logo, get it now. If not, you can wait and see what the new logo looks like, and maybe pick up a shirt for your next trip. And also, separate to that is the golden button shirt that we've been talking about. That will be a separate store. It's not going to be in the main store, but we'll provide more information on that when it's available. For anyone who likes Patreon as a means to support people, you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod to check out our different levels of support in Patreon. Each of them has something unique that you can only get from Patreon. The logo is Patreon only, and for all Patreon supporters, they get access to our Discord server, which is yet another place that we love to talk with our listeners and is a little more intimate. And we share things on there that don't even get shared on the Facebook group. So,
or on the podcast.
Yeah. So it's a different conversation. It's still a podcast conversation, but it's a different one. So make sure you check that out. If that's interesting to you. Last but not least, if you are listening on iTunes or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review so that the algorithm gets happy and shows us to more people, because that's what algorithms do. That they want to be happy. They eat stars like Captain Crunch. So make sure you do
working
that
too. By the way, these reviews are really helpful to us.
Yeah. And if you're on iTunes, make sure you write us a review, because we do love seeing those. We do read them on the show. So, if you write us a review, you may get it heard at the end of the show, which,
like this
Tom,
one.
Do we have any new ones? Yeah.
We do. We have one from Canada.
Ooh.
One of your Canadian brethren or sister.
I'm sure I know who it is.
You do. Yeah. All Canadians know each other. We all know that.
Yeah, totally.
So this is from Shawbell72. Amazing Disney podcast, 5 stars. Great Disney podcast, very informative and entertaining. I appreciate the effort and time that goes into producing a weekly podcast. 5 stars and 3 thumbs up.
Dude, Tom, you know who that is. Stop.
Who is it?
No, you probably paid them to say
I did not pay anybody to say anything. No, that's not me at all. No, how can I post from Canada? I'm not posting from Canada.
It wasn't me either.
Yeah,
but thank you so much, Shawbell72.
Is 3 thumbs up good? I mean, should we get more than 3 thumbs up?
I mean, if you have 3 thumbs up and can give 3 thumbs up, that is impressive.
I guess 3 enthusiastic thumbs up is good. Okay, I'll take it. All right. Well, don't forget to, the other thing that really helps us out too is subscribing, right? Subscribing is a big thing. So please don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music. Just about any place you can find podcasts, you can find us. Just search for Welcome Home. Look for the one that's Disney. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a DVC representative, a DVC cast member, a regular cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge shout out to our sponsors, DVC Resale Market, for sponsoring this episode, and of course, World of DVC for being continued sponsors of the show and supporters of the show. So please check them out for any of your DVC needs. They are the ones to go to. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.